All right, whose idea was it to have almost an entire episode without either Anya or Yor? Unfortunately, I feel like episode 22 of Spy X Family is kind of highlighting sort of the downfall of Spy X Family. I'm not saying that the series is bad. I enjoy every single episode of it, but it doesn't feel like it's up to the caliber that that first part was. Like the first few episodes and the entire first season or part of Spy X Family was absolutely incredible. It was so funny. The writing was just top tier. I was enjoying it so much. But I feel like slowly over time with this part two, it just feels like it's just kind of slowly dwindling. It really doesn't feel like the writer really has their heart in it. And I know I'm not going to play into this whole suspicious of the mangaka hates the series and so they're doing a terrible... No, they're fine with the series. It's just they are surprised that it was doing so well compared to everything else they technically want to write. It's not as if they don't like this series. I have no feelings of that whatsoever. There is a passion in here. There's a heart in here, but again, it just feels like nothing's really happening. And again, the writing's not really there. There has been some really great episodes this part, don't get me wrong. Just, where are we going? And it's like with this whole segment is really kind of just pointing out Lloyd and Fiona's relationship, but it doesn't feel like there's enough there. It's kind of going into the realms of Yuri versus Yor. That whole aspect, just this joke, they're just going to kind of keep dragging out that joke. Again, I like Fiona a lot more than I do Yuri, but at the same time, it's still technically the same joke. Now, underneath all that stuff is something that could probably be decently interesting and fun in the midst of the joke itself, which is where they're really seemingly pointing out how hypocritical Fiona is. I mean, it opens up this entire episode. Lloyd, you're getting weak. You're my senpai. You taught me, or Sisho, you taught me everything I need to know, and yet you're now with his family, and you've gotten weak. And it's like, but she's not acknowledging the fact that while she's claiming he has unnecessary emotions, she has unnecessary emotions. She's her entire mindset is stuck in love. She can't think about anything else but showing off to Lloyd, and thus she's basically producing this thing that he taught her not to have. This thing where you have this focus and it's getting in the way of your mission itself. And that's what we're seeing play out in this entire episode. She's so focused on beating these other people and yes, technically threatening to take out these people in the stands for, disparaging Lloyd. At the same time, she's overworking herself and she's not realizing she's harming herself. So he stops her and says, look, your hands, you're like they're just tore up because she was trying so hard to beat each opponent. And he's like, that's how we lose people. You get so stuck into your emotions, you get so stuck in the mission itself, and you're forgetting things. You're pushing yourself too hard, which is technically what was warned to Lloyd. Apparently, this very brief scene that we see, Lloyd was warned, keep an eye on her. She's trying too hard to get ahead, and that's going to cause her to screw up. And she's doing exactly that. She's still green. She's still got too much green in her, despite the fact that they're kind of laying out this idea that she'll do anything to complete the mission. Everybody's kind of afraid of her. She's not as hardcore as she believes that she is. But yes, like I said, despite my issues around, again, it not being super funny of an episode, it was still a solid episode. And yes, a lot of that is in every 2 seconds, Fiona's like expressing how much she loves Lloyd. Oh yeah, I practiced for a little bit just to get myself warmed up, but I haven't really played it much. And yet he wrecks the competition. He wrecks these vets in tennis because his little bit of practicing. She's like, you completely redefine that entire definition of dabbling. But yes, most of it was really just this kind of goofy underground tennis setup. It kind of reminded me of Birdie Wing or whatever that show was called, where suddenly we have underground bets happening around these people that are really, really rich, and it's just over the top rocket tennises and whip tennises and platforms sinking into the ground, people just juicing themselves up just to win these bets. But it does seem like, based on how close we are to the final of the season, I mean, we only have 3 more episodes left. I don't know if this is going to be the final climax. It really does feel like they're putting a lot of weight into this mission itself, and the idea that this is a mission where if they do find this information, these documents possibly within this artwork, it could re-spark the war, because it's documents that kind of highlight the travesties of the war itself, what they did to the POWs and everything like that. So it is definitely a mission that's going to be a lot of weighing on it, but will it be enough to be, again, a super climactic ending? Don't know. It does seem like, based on the preview of the next episode, it really does seem like maybe possibly a lot of the focus of the conclusion of this season is going to be surrounding Fiona and Yor. Does she see her as a threat? Will she take her out? That kind of thing. Both sides are kind of doing the same thing. Fiona doesn't like Yor because she's making her weak and that she wants to be in that position. On your side, she thinks that she's a thieving netgo. Oh, they went out on a tennis game together. I wonder if Fiona's there. And is she going to try to steal? Maybe I should just get rid of her. No, I can't do that. I don't know. At this point, I just want Yor to do something. So if that's to take out Fiona, I'll be very highly conflicted. But at least Yor will do something. I don't know. I think my enjoyment of this season is going to really weigh heavily on, will we get to see Yor do something by the end of the season? If Yor does nothing by the end of the season, part of her job, I'm going to throw out the entire series. Like, I'm done. Or hopefully just some sort of conclusion around Damien and Nyanya. I would love, hopefully, something to conclude in this season to really make it feel like I gained something from this series. And like I said before, I don't really feel like this second part has really done anything to really solidify a conclusion of something. I really do hope that this season has something of a climax, something to really hit us. Because again, like I mentioned before, and I don't negative the series, part 1 had an ending that was very anticlimactic. And again, that was to a purpose. It wasn't technically a season end, it was just part 1. And again, technically with the beginning of this part, it went crazy with this whole group that was Keith and everybody. But anyways, we'll see. Hopefully, again, like I said, we'll have an interesting next episode, conclude this whole tennis match thing, have Fiona confront Yor, really finally hopefully get to see some sort of action happening there. Poor Anya in the middle of it being freaking out because she obviously knows what the two sides want. They want the other one dead. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 22 of Spy X Family. Hopefully it doesn't make anybody mad, like the big fans of the series. Again, I think I've heard a couple people say that it's sort of been dwindling off. I know even when I did my tier list, it came down a couple notches because, again, it feels very weak in this part, and I hope that it starts to pick things back up. It's had, like I said, some really incredible episodes, though. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 22 of Spy X Family. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Am I wrong? Additionally, if you've not already, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. Greatly appreciate everybody it does, and y'all take care.